As Mandalorian Season 3 went on, Din Djarin and Bo-Katan seemed to get closer and closer together. That was until the end of the finale, where they became seemingly separated. By now, most of you have finished Mandalorian Season 3, and with it being out for a while, I myself had some time to just sit on it and just think on it. And when thinking about it, beyond asking myself why the season felt so rushed and chaotic at times, I kept coming to the question of why didn't BoDin actually happen? Why did we not get a scene clearly showing a kiss or a hug between Bo and Din? I mean, from the interviews the actors had given, romance between the two characters was obviously in the discussion.
She was shipping Din and Bo, so a lot of people were. Was that ever a conversation or never a conversation?
It was a conversation for sure. It was for sure a conversation.
There was definitely some very deep moments between them, and even some instances of some physical interaction between them, and there clearly was a deep connection between them, but nothing obviously official that can give us the evidence to officially ship them. In today's video, I'm going to be giving my thoughts as to why BoDin didn't officially happen and why I think it can still happen in Mandalorian Season 4. So why it didn't happen in Mandalorian Season 3? Well, for starters, apparently we can't call it BoDin anymore because Din Grogu is a thing. Which, it's just so random, like why can't it just be Grogu Djarin? But getting to one of the first main points, there wasn't a time when Din Djarin actually took off his helmet this season. So there was no easy way for them to kiss because there just wasn't any real opportunity. Now, to counter that argument is that they could have just had a Mandalorian kiss, aka a Keldabe, which is essentially just two helmets colliding together. That's just how the Mandalorians of old in lore would share a kiss. Now, this may actually have happened in the finale, in the flames, end of the finale with Grogu using the Force to save them. We get this scene where they potentially are seen maybe Keldabeing. But it's too hard to tell. And if they wanted it to be official and wanted us to, like, for sure ship this and say, oh, they Keldabe, it would have been more clear. But there's a reason why they may have left it up for our interpretation and made it hard to see and unclear. And it might have to do with something about them potentially getting together later on, like in Season 4. But we'll get into that more in just a bit. So all season long, there have been countless scenes with Bo-Katan and Din Djarin being close together and just getting closer together, hinting at this possible shipping. As early as episode 2 of the season, Bo-Katan saves Din Djarin and has close scenes together already in that. I mean, she shares about her family, talking about her dad and just kind of her earlier life, and that's just, showing them getting closer in a sense. I mean, Bo-Katan saves Din Djarin's life twice in that episode. They literally bathed in the living waters together. And from there, after Mandalore, once her home is destroyed and she has nowhere to go, Din takes her in and brings her to the children of the Watch Mandalorians, and they become closer that way, in that they rejoin the Kree together because they bathed in the living waters together, in a sense. And from there, we get scenes with Bo-Katan being a mother to Grogu, and then at the campfire scene, once Din is done with his speech, he goes to sit down next to Bo-Katan, and obviously they're very close there. And I just gotta say, that specific scene, in my opinion, is probably, I know this is kind of a hot take, but in my opinion, is kind of the most close they are in the whole season, and it's the closest we see physically touching, and it still potentially hints at like the possibility of them already having romantic feelings for each other and just kind of feeling natural that they were able to be sitting that kind of close. But from there, they save Navarro together, and then the next episode is like an entire episode of them two together as a dynamic duo, being detectives, helping the city, and at the end of it, Din gives Bo-Katan Darksaber, further closening their bond. Then the next episode follows up with Din literally vowing to serve Lady Kryze until her song is written. Just that very deep and emotional verbal interaction between them before finally in the finale them working together to defeat Gideon and then that potential Keldabe. And they end up separate ways at the end of this, but from all I just listed, and there's more than what I just listed, throughout the entire season, the writers of The Mandalorian have obviously been hinting at the idea of this happening, and like we've talked about, and Katie has discussed this in interviews. Brendan Wayne, one of the other main actors that plays Din Djarin, the one who's in the suit the most, more than Pedro Pascal. That gets into, the main reason why I think this BoDin didn't actually officially happen is because it was too radical of a decision for them to just suddenly in one season put them together. So my theory is that they introduced this closeness between them in this season to kind of, gauge general audience, gauge people's reactions between the shipping between them, put subtle hints and teases of them potentially being close together, but not actually confirming it, just to gauge interest in the fandom of how people would like a relationship between Din Djarin and Bo-Katan. Because it's not like they can actually change season 3 as it's airing. They can only see what we're reacting because, this is filmed like over a year ago, so that they can gauge all of this, so that when they're filming season 4, they might then potentially make that decision to bring them together and confirm BoDin, confirm the ship of Bo-Katan and Din Djarin and the romance between them. I really just think that this whole season, other than the season for what it was, tying up the loose ends with Moff Gideon and the Shadow Council and Thrawn, was also, potentially just introducing the idea of that potential relationship between them in a way that in the future, doesn't shock us if they do actually kiss or have that Keldabe for real on screen. And that's why I think that, that Keldabe we get at the end of the season, I think maybe what it was intentional, but they tried to make it so it wasn't so obvious that it's confirmed, but so that more people like us out there that actually ship them would notice it, and then they see the reactions from us and other people that it's actually a positive reaction. So in the future, they may actually do it for season 4 or even the movie and beyond. So basically, my theory is that they've been teasing BoDin all season long, and although they don't end up together and go their separate ways at the end of the season, basically, BoDin actually did happen this season, but rather than it being confirmed, think of this season as just a chapter in their journey of the romance to come to help gain fan interest on the ship, and for that actual confirmation to come later down the road, whether that's season 4 or in the Mandoverse Dave Filoni movie where a bigger action between them might happen. But it's probably going to be about a year and a half, sometime probably in the fall/winter of 2024 when we're actually going to get season 4. It was announced a bit ago. Jon Favreau discussed on an interview that he is done writing the season, so it's kind of up to him as the writer. If there is BoDin stuff in there, we'll have to find out. It's going to be a long wait, but even if it's not necessarily in there right now, it doesn't mean there can't be changes based on the reactions that social media and everyone's been giving about the BoDin wave, the Dinbo wave, whatever you want to call it, just the positive shipping. And it ultimately it is up to kind of like the director too of what kind of happens in the episodes. They're given the writing of the episode, but it's their interpretation of what to do with it, if that makes sense. But yeah, still got a long wait. We've got Ahsoka coming in August, and that's going to be a lot of fun to cover. I'm not sure if we'll see Din Djarin or Bo-Katan. Potentially we could see it. If we do, it would be towards the end of the Ahsoka season, because there is supposed to be a time jump, so I just don't think that we'd see him at all in the first half. Yeah, so let me know your guys' thoughts on my theory on this whole situation as to why BoDin didn't officially happen this season. I had a lot of fun making this video, just trying to go, off the rails, off the script, just giving my honest thoughts and just think about it as much as I can. We're going to be streaming Jedi Survivor when it comes out, which is late tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, I hope you have a great day. Make sure to smash like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.